This conference will now be recorded.
Hello guys, welcome to Kumar Consulting. So guys, in this session, we are going to start basic settings. So as I told you guys, if you are able to remember the previous session. So in previous session, we discussed about enterprise structure, where we have defined company code, business area. But there was one more thing guys, I said, like even we required, if you are going to post any transactions, then what will happen? We required financial year also. This transaction is getting posted for which fiscal year or which financial year. Again, for which period, in the sense for which month. Okay, so that is called posting period. So these things also we need to set up in SAP. Okay, now how to set up these all things, I'll let you know. If we talk about basic settings, then these are the things which comes in basic setting. Fiscal year variant. Fiscal year is nothing but financial year. Posting period variant. Field status variant. Now, there is one more question, guys. Why this financial year is going to be set up as a variant? Why this posting period is going to be set up as a variant? Why field status is going to be set up as a variant? Right? It means what is the meaning of variant? So that also I'll explain. Okay. Now, we'll start one by one. We'll start from fiscal year variant. Look at here guys, fiscal year variant decide that the financial year is calendar year or non-calendar year. Here the thing is, why we have to define this fiscal year variant or so-called financial year? So I'll tell you guys, whenever, like let's suppose we are, if you are in India, so here the financial year is going to be started from April and will be ended in the March. If we talk about the financial year 2019, so it is going to be started from April and it will be ended in the March 2020, which is why people say 1920, right? It means like partially, like one quarter is falling in the 2020 also, right? Now, if you talk about say for example, we are having any foreign countries, US, UK, right? So they are using calendar year in the sense like Jan to December. Okay, so Jan to December is quite easy. This is the normal because even we are also very much familiar with that and we are using in our daily life. Why it is called calendar year? Because entire calendar in the entire world is going to be published in the sense like whichever is going to be used in our day-to-day life, right? That is Jan to December itself. But if you talk about the company's financial statement and all, so those companies are following whatever the financial year is there in their countries, and also in India it is like as for this Hindi month they are following, like so it is going to be started from April ending in the March. Okay, likewise in some of the countries it is July to June. Like that, several what to say this one is there. Now, so here fiscal year variant is going to decide that financial year is calendar year or non-calendar year. Now, whatever the fiscal years, in the sense financial years are there, okay, that is already SAP has given. SAP has given those fiscal years and all. Simply what is happening guys, in real time, people are just going to copy that one. But here, what we are going to do, we are going to create our own because we need to understand certain logic. If you copy, nothing will happen, right? So we'll create our own. Now, so we'll do one thing first of all, and there are a lot more things to discuss, guys, in this financial year also. Okay, some of the things I'm going to explain right now, and even there are certain things for which I have already recorded a video, exclusive video will be there. Okay, that I'll share once I share the interview question and answers along with that. So, first of all, okay, so let me log in into SAP first. So now, how to define fiscal year variant? Okay, so use transaction code OB29. Press enter. So what I have given here, guys, we are having, like, let's suppose if you talk about Jan to December, then one standard fiscal year variant K4 has been given by SAP. Okay, so during implementations, what is happening? Simply, we are going to copy this K4 and we'll create our own. Okay, or else people even using K4 itself directly, we are going to assign K4 also. If you talk about April to March, for that already one predefined financial fiscal year variant has been given by SAP, that is V3. Okay, so what will happen during implementations? Either people will copy this V3 and then create their own. Simply they're going to change the code, or else what they'll do, they will what to say, assign directly V3 itself. In the sense, they are going to use V3 itself directly. So now we'll do one thing, guys. Look at here, several fiscal year variants are there. Okay, because this is a, in this server there are lots of people are there, guys, and everybody has created their own for the practice and all. What we are going to do, we are also going to create our own. First of all, you just need to click on new entry and make sure, look at here, this fiscal year variant is having certain code. Okay, so make sure that whichever it's two digit lengths only will be there for this code. Okay, so make sure that whatever code you are going to give should not, let's suppose our TM, what is our company code, guys? Which company code I defined? Anybody is able to remember?
OX15.
No.
Huh?
Sunny is saying TM01, not TM01, I guess.
OX15, right? It is.
TT02.
I'm not talking about transaction code here. I'm talking about my company code. What company code I have defined, right?
Kumar, TT02.
Which one?
TT02.
Just type here, right? You can type here, so that I can. Sometimes voice is broken. TM01 is not there. It will be, let me check. I think TM05 will be there. You guys are unable to remember, I think. Let me check. TT02, no, that is not there. Venkat, just be on mute. Just be on mute, lots of noise. TT02 is not there. It's okay. OX02 is the company code by which. So just type TM itself. I think is it TM10? or TM02, TM02 I guess. Yeah, TM02 I have defined. Okay, I'll write TM02. This one I have defined. So now I'll do one thing, guys. Here, let me take T0, T5. So I'm going to define my fiscal year variant. Okay, T2. Click on new entry, and here you can give T2 in description. You can give like anything. Let's suppose April to March for Tata Motor. Okay. Now there are few things which I'll explain, guys. Don't worry. Okay. Then how many number of posting periods? Okay, will be there. Now, if we talk about Jan to December, guys, right? Whether we are having like Jan to December. Jan to December. In that case also, we are having 14 period. If we talk about April to March, I'll just type in shortcut itself, April to March. Then in that case also we are having 12 period itself, right? Like how many months are there? 12 months are there. If we talk about July to June, in that case also we are having 12 period itself, right? So now generally how many periods we are going to give, guys? 12. Number of special posting period, guys. This is a pretty important topic, and here on that I have recorded a separate video on this particular topic. Okay. So once I share the interview question and answers, along with that, I'm going to share that. In that itself, I have recorded it in the form of interview question and answer itself, so that it will be easy. Because till that time, what will happen? You guys will be having perfect understanding of basic settings. Okay. So right now, I'll just give 4. I'm not explaining the logic right now. Okay. Now, so here, what I have given, I've given descriptions. I've given this fiscal year variant code T2, and number of posting period 12, special posting period 4. Even you can leave it blank also right now if you want. Okay, later on once you understand the logic, then you can keep it, or else you can keep the 4. Maximum number of special period will be 4 itself, which is going to be used at the time of year-end adjustment. Okay, adjustment in the sense like, let's suppose some certain transactions related adjustments are there, tax related adjustments are there, right? During audit, if any discrepancies were found, so people are going to post those transactions in the form of adjustment to rectify their to correct their books of account and all. So that I have specified, that I have explained in details in a video, and that of course in the form of interview question and answer itself, so that you guys will be, once I share that, you guys will be you'll be having perfect understanding of this, right? Now, so here first of all we need to understand about the fiscal year variant. Okay, so posting period I have given 12, special period I have given 4. Now present. So here, if it is a calendar year, then there is no problem at all. There is no problem at all, because SAP will be able to understand calendar year means starting from Jan, March, April, May, June, July, So now in calendar year, simply you need to apply a check mark here. Okay, you need to apply a check mark here, and that's it. We can save it. Okay, just press enter. These changes are also going to be saved on the same transport request. So in calendar year, we are nothing going to specify much. Simply you have to apply a check mark, and SAP will be able to understand what that January. It means calendar year means always going to be started from January itself. So January will be the first period. In the sense, January is the first month. Like that, we are having second, third. Okay. So here it will be like in this, isn't it? In case of calendar year, in case of calendar year, this will be the condition. Okay, now if it is non-calendar year, non-calendar year means, let's suppose what we are following, guys, we are following, if it is Jan to December, then this is the condition. January is the first month and December is 12th month, right? But if it is non-calendar year, let's suppose non-calendar year, okay, then what will happen? Then we need to do some additional configurations. Here what you need to go guys, you need to do, you just select here and double click on periods. Okay, so now system is saying that period cannot be maintained for calendar. What we are going to do, I'll tell you. For calendar year, period maintenance is not required. Why? Because this is the standard one. SAP knows very well that calendar means Jan to December. Okay, so here it will be synced with the system date, and easily system is going to identify that it is today's date is what. Let's suppose in SAP already it's there, right? So whenever we are going to post a transaction, system is always going to pick up the today's date. So let's suppose today's date is 19th of August. Okay, so and year is also there, right? 2019. So your system will be able to identify that August means this is 8th period. Okay, why I'm focusing more on this period, guys? Because after that itself, I'm going to explain what is the use of this periods and all after this topic. So now, if today is like if you are going to post a transactions in today's date, the system will be able to identify that with the date. Like let's suppose if it is 19th August, then the system will identify that it is 8th period. In the sense, this August means 8th period, October means 10th period, March is 3rd period, like that. But where is the problem? You just remove the check mark, and then save it. Okay. Now because this is not the what is the calendar year, I'm saying like April to March, which I'm going to define. So just you need to select it, and you need to click on period. Here is the main things to understand. Here is the major things to understand. What that I'll explain. Now what we are going to, where is the challenges, guys? Now I said April to March. So April to March means now here as per non-calendar year, April is the first period. Our month is going to be started from April onwards. So April is the first period. So December will be 9th period. And then next year, January is 10th period and February 11th. And next year, March is 12th period. Okay. So it's this is how we have to define. Okay, April is the first period, May is the second period, and likewise December is the 9th period, and next year Jan will be 10th, February will be 11th, and March will be 12th. So now here, why we are putting more and more stress on defining this period, guys, that I'll explain, because we are having a topic called posting period variant, right? So there, this logic is going to be cleared. I'll just do one thing, guys. Right now, click on new entry. Okay, so now here, we are going to specify the month. So month means what? We are going to start from January itself, right? January means we have to, you just copy this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so month, I have specified. Days. Days means what, guys? Let's suppose if you talk about number of days will be like in January, how many days? 31. Then let's suppose, okay, in February, guys, I'll tell you, in February, like 29 days and 28 days. In case of leap year, it is going to be what? 28 or 29?
29 leap year.
29.
Now here, the thing is, in case of leap year, what is happening? It's going to be 29. And generally, what is happening? So every after 4 years, right? Now, so here we are going to generally give the maximum one. Okay, and automatically system is going to identify this leap year, guys. Okay, whenever this is automatically system is going to identify, because that is already tested several times and all. Okay, so now here in this case, in February month, what is happening, guys? We have to give the maximum one, 29th itself. If there is no leap year, let's suppose, then the system is going to consider this 28 automatically, and after that 29 will not be considered. Okay, once I explain this posting period variant, then I'll correlate. Okay, you give for February maximum we are going to give. For March, everything is fixed, guys, right? 31, and then April 30, again 31, 30, 31, August is also 31 itself, right? Then we are having 30, 31, 30, and again 13, right? Like that we are having the number of days in this month, right? So now here what is happening, guys? And these are the standard. Okay, it's never going to be changed. Whether you follow Jan to December, whether you follow April to March, whether you follow July to June, right? Whether you follow October to September, whatever the financial years are there. Okay, in every cases, these days are constant. Okay, there is in no cases October is going to be 32 days or 30 days or something, right? Okay, of course there will be a case that I'll explain. Okay, but now what is happening, guys, here? Now right now these all are standard only. Simply just copy here. Okay, so these are the days. Now, since our is non-calendar year, so non-calendar year means April, first period. Likewise, we are having May, that is second period. This is 9th period, then 10th, 11th, and 12th. This is what I have specified here, non-calendar year. So simply I'm going to copy this one and I'll paste it here. Okay. Okay. Hansraj is asking that in month column, can we write like Jan to Feb? No, system will not understand this Jan, Feb, or March or something. Okay, text is not going to be specified. If you give text here, system, I don't think that system will. Look at here. I'm trying to type something, system is not going to accept it. In the sense, letter is not going to be accepted. Okay, and even while defining, even you guys also can make this experiment, okay, because you also have to define your fiscal year variant. Now, so here, till here, the logic is quite easy. Whatever I have explained is quite easy to understand. But the most important things which you guys need to understand is year shift. What is this year shift, right? Now let me open a new screen. I think it's gone. Okay, so I'll just do one thing, guys. Month, days, period. Okay, I'll just specify year shift here itself. Okay, and then okay, I've written in shortcut year shift. Okay, this is your year shift. What is this year shift? Okay, now generally it's 2019, right? It's 2000. This is the month. Okay, so make it bold. Okay, so now what is happening, guys? And let me make it like this. Okay, so now here, okay, so now here in year shift, what is happening? We are going to specify certain things. Let's suppose we are talking about April to March. So April means what, guys? April is the first period. If it is calendar year, then nothing, no worry, no problem at all. The every problem is going to be, I'll just hide it. Now I'm going to hide it. Okay, now it is non-calendar year. So non-calendar year means April first period, days and everything we have specified. In year shift, we are going to specify 0. April 2019. Okay, so this April is going to fall in 2019 itself. There is no issue. System is going to identify 0, 0 like that, 0 itself. Till here, 0. These all months are falling. April till December is falling in 2019. In 2019. Okay. So I'll just make it. I'll just do one thing. I will make it. I'll just, since it is falling in 2019. Okay. So it's just make it like this. Okay. So I've specified 0. What about these 3 months, guys? These 3 months, this is falling in 2020. Right? Next year, isn't it? So next year means what, guys? For this one, we are going to specify year shift -1. -1. Why we are going to specify -1, guys? Because there is a huge, once I'm going to cover a topic called posting period variant, I will correlate this and then you guys will be having a perfect understanding. I'll tell you guys, the most of the people, whatever I have observed, okay, they don't have the, what is it, basic idea of this year shift and all. So why we are going to specify the -1? Okay, so even though this Jan and Feb and March is falling in 2020, right? It is falling in 2020, but this 2020 means what, guys? Like let's suppose, even though this Jan, Feb and March is falling in 2020, but this is the part of 2019 itself. Fiscal year means what? Financial year means what, guys? Either it will be 2019 or it will be 2020. We are saying 2019-20, it's okay, right? But financial year means we are going to publish our statement for one particular year. Okay, so if you talk about 2019-20, it means this financial year is what? It's 2019 itself. Now here, Now here, so now here, let's suppose these three months is falling in 2020. How system will be able to understand that even though it's part of 2020, but as per our financial year, what is happening? This Jan and Feb and March is the part of 2019 itself. So here year shift are given -1. It means current year -1. Okay, current year -1. So this is how system will be able to understand that yes, it is a part of 2019. Now I'll tell you guys, after this I'm going to explain a topic called posting period variant. Okay, after this this posting period variant is going to become. So there once again I'm going to give the example and then you'll be having a perfect understanding. Okay, so I'll just do one thing. We'll have to log in once again, because if you don't use the system, then what will happen automatically? It's going to log out. If you don't use for 4 or 5 minutes, it's going to log out. So now here, okay. Now here we have to do one thing. Use OB29 once again. OB29. It's taking some time. Wait. Okay. Now it's open here. And our is click on position, and we have already created T2. Select this one and double click on periods. So here you need to click on new entry. And now we are going to map these things. First of all, okay, I'll just do one thing, guys. I'm going to unhide these things. Unhide. Okay. So month 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Till days. So days also I have specified here. This is also quite standard itself, right? Now the period. So period, since we are following non-calendar year, April to March. So here, this is the period. April is the first period, right? April is the first period, and December is the 9th one, and then January, February, and March, right? 10th, 11th, 12th. Okay, these three are falling in next year. So how system will identify that this is the part of current year itself, right? Next year means, so system is going to identify with the help of year shift. So here we are going to specify this year shift in the sense, even though it's following next year, guys, but it is a part of current year. Why? Because year shift is there. Next year -1, it means current year. Next year, here also next year -1, it means current year. Next year -1, current year. Now why there is a need of this year shift, guys, right? Why we are putting this much stress that no, this January, February, March is not the part of, like next year, it's the part of current year itself. Yes, there is a logic, there is a use. First of all, you just press enter and you will save it first. Okay, let me complete this fiscal year variant, then I'm going to explain the posting period variant. There I'll explain the logic. Okay, apart from this, okay, here period text is there. If like you're asking like, can we specify January, February, something. So here in text we are going to specify, guys, but I do not specify because our work is going to be done from here. Okay, even if you want to specify the month in different languages like Chinese, French, or something, that can be specified, but generally I don't. Okay, so leave it. We are having one more thing, shorten fiscal year, and click on back button, and we are having one more thing to explain, that is year dependent fiscal year, right? So these two things. Now, shortened fiscal year, guys, this is the name itself is saying. If you talk about the name, this shortened fiscal year is going to be used for what? Let's suppose if any financial year which is having like the posting period, in the sense the month is less than the normal period. Okay, normal period in the sense like let's suppose 12 months is there. Okay, shortened fiscal year is what, guys? We are going to, let's suppose we are going to create a fiscal year which is having the post periods of like 6 months only, 8 months only, 7 months only, right? So for that we have to define this shortened fiscal year, and then what is happening most likely during, let's suppose, merger and acquisition is going to happen. So in merger and acquisition, what is happening? The company, whichever company is going to be acquired, let's suppose like current organization is going to be acquired by a different organizations and all, then what will happen in that? Now, if current organization is going to be acquired by a different organizations, then what will happen, guys? Now, it means the current company has to follow the fiscal year which is being followed by the company which is going to acquire this one, right? So now here in that case, what will happen? Shortened fiscal year is going to be defined, and we can use that. Even more highlights are thrown, like in interview question and answer segment. Once again, the explanations will be there. Okay, it will be a bit confusing right now to understand. I'll give certain, I'll just explain, about year dependent also. Try to understand what is this year dependent. Now, let's suppose we are having a company, or Tata Motor itself. Tata Motor itself says that for me, our periods are going to be like our month end activities are going to happen. In the sense, for us, the month end will happen on every last Friday of the month. Say for example, if you talk about the calendar, then last Friday, let's suppose August means on 38th itself, what is happening, guys? Month end is going to happen. Then if you talk about September, then what will happen, guys? In September, like let's suppose in September, what is happening, guys? When Friday is there, on 27th itself, last Friday will be there. It means September month is going to be finished on 27th itself, right? So in that case, what is happening? Let's suppose I said that in August the month is going to be finished on 38th, but generally what is happening? August means 31 days there. So 1 day is remaining, 1 day is there, 1 day in the previous like August month, and 27 days in the current September. 27 days plus 1 day. So September month, if you talk about the number of days in September month, it's going to be 28, right? Likewise, not here, I'll just do one thing. I'll insert. Meanwhile, I'll just do one thing, guys. Let me. Okay. So that. Okay. So now here, year dependent. In the case of year dependent, the number of days are going to be changed. How? So look at here. We'll talk about September. We'll talk about August. So August month is going to be finished on which day, guys? As I said, like August is going to be finished on, let's suppose, Friday is on 38th. So 1 day is there, 1 day is still remaining in August. So that 1 day, and plus if you talk about September month, then September month means it is going to be finished on 27th, because last Friday is falling on 27th. So 27 day and plus 1 day which was remaining in August. So how many days will be there, guys, in September? It is September consists of 28 days only, right? And October month. So now what is the length of October month, guys? in the sense what is the number of days in October. So look at here, as I said, like in September is going to be finished on 27th. So we are having 3 days remain in September, which is going to be counted in next month, that is 28, 29 and 30. So 3 days here, and then we'll talk about October month. So go to October, and in October we are having the last Friday is falling on 25th itself. So 25 days here, and again 25 days here, right? Is it 25 or 26? Right? So now 25 days from 1st till 25, I think it will be 26 days, right? And plus 3 days belongs to the previous. So it's going to be how many days, guys? It will be again 29 days, I guess, right? If we talk about November, then what will happen? Even for November also. So 25th, right? Let me talk about November. Okay, so September was finished on which day, guys? 27th. No, I'm talking about, let me check, October. October was finished on 25th. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days are remaining, right? 6 days in October, and then in November, how many days? In November, it will be 29, right? November, it means in November, what is happening, guys? On 29. So now look at here, 6 days plus 29. Okay, 6 days plus 29. How many days are there, guys? So 29 plus 6, it will be around 35, right? So now what is happening, guys? This, whatever it is, 35 or might be 34 or might be 36. Here it could be 28, 29, 30. Why? Because the number of days in a month is keep on changing every year. Now I said I have defined here, like as in September 28 days. Let's suppose in October 29 days. In November or in November 35 days, right? So it means what is happening, guys? It means if you talk about the number of days, it's not fixed. Again, next year there is no guarantee that if this year, like suppose in current year, if the last Friday is falling in August month, if the last Friday is falling on 20, let's suppose, or on 38th or 29th, let's suppose in August month, the last Friday is falling on which day? 30th, right? There is no guarantee that even in 2020 also it is going to fall on the 38th itself, right? It could be 25th itself. Next year, the last Friday is going to fall on 25th itself. So what will happen, guys? In that case, again, next year also, if you talk about like right now, August month is having, let's suppose, 32 days. Next year, it could be 31 days. So now what is happening, guys? As per the requirement, the number of days in every month is going to be changed. So year dependent means what, guys? Year dependent means what? Here the number of days for every period is not equals to the normal one. Okay, the normal days means if you talk about Jan, it will be always 31 days itself. Even if you calculate till your calendars, whatever these things are there till thousands years also, number of days will be 31 itself. If you talk about February, it will be either 28 or 29 because considering the leap years and all. March 31, like that. This is December 31, right? So these days are never going to be changed, neither 32 nor 30. But in case of year dependent fiscal year, what is happening, guys? Our number of days, whatever the number of days are there, in every month is going to be increase or decrease. Okay, increase or decrease. Number of days is going to be increase or decrease. It means it is more or less compared to the normal one, right? Either it will be more or it will be less, right? So now here, if you talk about year dependent means our the whichever the okay. In case of, so here what is happening, guys? The number of days in every month is going to be more or less compared to the normal one, right? Now here till now I haven't defined any certain fiscal years, and I haven't received any requirement to define this year dependent. But of course, if you guys, like, let's suppose it's being used. It's not like that it's not being used. Of course, it's being used in the organizations and all, okay, based on the requirements. So if anybody's are like saying like this, then what will happen? Year dependent fiscal year is going to be defined, and in that case, simply, I think I'll have to log in again because this is already logged out. Okay, this is gone. So now in that case, what is happening, guys? Here, so every month, different number of days will be different. Here, normal is 31, but in case of year dependent, it could be 30 days also, it could be 28 days also, it could be 34 days also, it could be 35 days also. Depends upon, like, for every month we have to count the way we have counted right now. In the same way we are going to count, and even like your client is going to give you the details of the number of days, like these many days are there in, let's suppose, January month, these many days are there in February, these many days are there in April, okay, like that we are going to. So year dependent, in which case we are going to define the year dependent, guys. So whenever such kind of requirement is there, whenever your client says that no, we are following these things, okay, our month end is going to happen on the last Friday of every month. So in that case, year dependent, okay, in the sense, like they're saying that in that case, our number of days in every month is not the standard one. It could be increased, it could be decreased, okay. So in that case, what is happening, guys? Simply, easily we are going to count, and here, okay, let me log in. So let me log in here. Okay, now use transaction code OB29. Okay, so once again, it's taking time. Just wait for a moment, guys. Because okay, so now it's done, and here our is T2. So click on position and give T2 here, and select this T2. Double click on periods. Let's see. Yes, we have defined and we have saved it also, right? Now, so what I was saying that, then in that case, like, let's suppose if you have to define year dependent, so what will happen, guys? Number of days will not be normal. So whatever the number of days are there, that we are going to count here, like 31, 28, 29, 35, 32, whatever is there, that is going to be counted. And you have to apply a check mark here on year dependent, and then you, what is happening, maintain the year dependent data and all, okay. So here we have to specify the posting periods and all, right? So now what is happening anyway? So now, okay, so we'll do one thing. So here you need to specify a check mark on year dependent, and once again, whatever the changes are there, in the sense like this days and all, isn't it? The days are going to be specified the way we have specified these things, right? The way we have specified these things and all, in the same way we are going to specify the days, because days will be different for every month compared to the normal. And one more thing which you have to know, that generally if you talk about fiscal year variant, okay, fiscal year variant, so what is happening, this is one-time setting. Once we have defined April to March, it means, let's suppose you are having a company code belongs to India. So always it's going to follow April to March itself. Now, once we have defined this April to March, lifelong this company is, whether this company exists for 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, 50 years, whatever it is, lifelong they are going to use this April to March itself. It means if we have set up this, okay, so now year independent, okay, now whatever the calendar year or non-calendar year is there, that is called year independent. And so year independent fiscal year means only once you have to say, once you have to set up, after that no need to set up and all. Now year dependent means what, guys? Year dependent means, as I said, that this month is going to be, whatever this months are there, that is going to be changed. Okay, even in certain cases posting periods are also going to be increased or decreased, right? So those are going to be changed, and compared to normal one, right? So those will be different compared to normal one. So in that case, what is happening, guys? Year dependent fiscal year variant is going to be defined every year. Every year you need to change it. This is of course it's a configuration itself, but every year it's going to be changed, because next year what is there, guys? The number of days will be different, right? Now, so okay, so okay, I'll just do one thing. Okay, so now here I explained the year dependent. Year dependent means whenever the periods are there, or whatever the number of days are there in a particular period is if it is abnormal compared to the standard one, if it is the number of days are more or less compared to the normal one, right? So in that case, year dependent fiscal year variants are going to be defined. And what is the uniqueness of year dependent fiscal year, guys? Year dependent always it's I don't think that interview questions sometime might be people may ask, but in certifications, if you guys are going to prepare for the certifications in future, once you become a consultant, if you're going to attend the interview questions and that, sorry, if you're going to attend any what to say certification exam, in that case you must be knowing this year dependent logic, because certain questions will be there, related to this year dependent law. Okay, so year dependent fiscal year variant is going to be defined every year. Okay, every year. And I told you guys why, because the number of days, what is happening, it could be more or less. This month 31, next month might be 35 or 28 or 29, right? So which is why we have to define this year dependent fiscal year. Okay, every year. Now what we have defined, guys, we have defined our fiscal year, we are using April to March, right? We are using April to March. So here April to March means, like, and I have defined, like, let's suppose T2. So this T2 fiscal year variant, this T2 fiscal, I have defined what, guys? I have defined, like, let's suppose T2. So this is my fiscal year variant, right? Okay. So this T2 fiscal year variant is going to be used. This is going to be used. Okay, my company code is, let's suppose, TM02. Okay, so now this T2 fiscal year variant we have defined for what? I've defined for my company code. So that I know that this T2 I have defined for my company code TM02, right? Even you guys also know that we have defined this T2 for Tata Motor. But what about SAP? SAP doesn't know. SAP doesn't know. Why? Because we are having several fiscal year variants here, right? So how SAP will come to know that this T2 we have defined for Tata Motor itself? So the next thing you have to do is, now we are going to assign this fiscal year variant to our company code. So OB37, I guess, is the projection code. Let me check. Okay, so yes, here we are going to assign. So click on position. First of all, search your company code TM02. Give your company code. Press enter. And here we are going to assign the fiscal year variant T2. Okay. Now, if you save it, then system is going to throw and warning, a warning message. Let's suppose if I click on Control S, or if you click on Save button, system is throwing a warning message. No postings are possible without fiscal year variant. Why system is saying there's no posting are possible without fiscal year variant? Look at here, somebody has defined TM09, but fiscal year variant is not assigned here, right? Might be any of you or a different, candidate has defined this company code, right? But fiscal year variant is not assigned. So system is saying that here you must have to assign. But this is a warning message. Look at here. This yellow color message is whatever is appearing. This is warning message. Red color messages will be error message. Once we proceed further, you guys are going to be expert to identify which one is the warning message, which one is the error message. Don't worry. Okay, since it is our second practical session itself, right? So now here, against TM09 system is saying that no fiscal year variant assigned. But this is not our company code. So why to put any fiscal year variant here? We have already assigned against our company code. So you just press enter to skip this message. Okay, this warning messages. Okay. Now look at here. System is again, system is showing the same transport request, and as I told you guys that there will be a separate lecture on this transport request. Okay, there are a lot more things to explore. There are a lot more things to learn in this transport request also. There are certain explanations, guys, which you will never find anywhere. Okay, so these all things, because this is how you guys are going to be unique, right? And as I told, like lots of things in the sense like in transport request, like how transport requests are going to be released, right? In the sense, what do you mean by main task? What do you mean by subtask? In which case we are going to release the subtask? In which case we are going to release the main task, right? What do you mean by here? Look at here. While saving this, we are having customizing request. Okay, there are two kind of requests are there, or tier is there, customizing and workbench. Practically, I'll show you guys what is the difference between workbench and this customizing request, because here lots of confusion will be there. Okay, people are going to search certain answers on Google, and whichever the answers available, it's quite confusing. So once the practically you see, you'll never forget in your entire life. Okay, so right now what is happening, guys? As I said, will be covered later. Before that, we have to cover lots of several topics. So right now, you just save the settings on the same transport request. Okay, because until unless you have an understanding about this, logic and all, then only you guys are going to set up the new transport request. So once I give a complete details about transport request and all, then you guys will come to know in which cases we are going to set up new transport requests. Right now, all the settings we are going to save on a single transport request itself. Okay, as I said, like the topic is not covered, it will be covered. Like before that, we have to discuss several other topics. Okay, so step by step, one by one, we are going to discuss everything. So what we have done, guys, we have defined the fiscal year variant, and this fiscal year variant we have assigned to our company code, so that the company code will, it means now what is happening, this T2 is going to be used by our company code. Now there is one more thing I have to explain, and that is, I said like, why are we going to define, okay, why are we going to define this fiscal year variant? Sorry, why we are going to define fiscal year as a variant? Why are we going to define posting period as a variant? Why are we going to define this, what to say, field status as a variant? This posting period variant, field status variant, of course it's going to be explained, but I don't think that in current session it's possible, because already it has taken 1 hour in this current, what is fiscal year variant itself, right? So now this will be explained in the next session. Okay, so I'll explain this, why we are going to define this fiscal year as a variant. What do you mean by variant? If somebody asks what do you mean by variant, or why do we define fiscal year as a variant, I'll tell you guys. Now let's suppose, so we have defined our Tata Motor, our company code, your company code, okay, your company code is Tata Motor, and our fiscal year variant we have defined what? So the fiscal year variant we have defined, sorry, make it bold. And fiscal year variant we have defined, that is T2, right? This T2 we have assigned. Now, so this fiscal year variant, why we have defined this fiscal year as a variant, guys? So the variant is reusable transactions or reusable settings, you can say, or reusable configurations, you can say. Variant is reusable configurations. Reusable means what, guys? Let's suppose Tata Motor is operating its business from India. Okay, they are going to follow April to March, in the sense their fiscal year, financial year is going to be started from April ending to the March. Even we are having Tata Steel also, let's suppose TS02. We are having Tata Chemical, TC02, right? We are having Tata, let's suppose Hotel Group, TS02, and likewise several subsidiaries are there. So even like what will happen, guys, even once you do the rollout for these subsidiaries, right now implementation is happening, which I have already explained in the previous session, guys, a complete logic I have given, right? So now let's suppose in future, if we are going to do the rollout for this Tata Steel, Tata Chemical, Tata Hotel Group, and whatever the XYZ other subsidiaries are there. Even if, like, what is happening, most likely these subsidiaries are also going to use the same fiscal year. Okay, so these subsidiaries are also going to use the same fiscal year. Okay, so now what will happen if same fiscal year in the sense April to March? So April to March, it doesn't mean that now we are going to, for these company code, we are going to define a new fiscal year, variant and all. No, as I said, variant is a reusable settings or reusable configurations. So same T2 is going to be assigned against these other company codes also. So why we have defined this fiscal year as a variant? As I said, that variant is a reusable transactions. So once we have defined this T2 as a fiscal year variant, now what is happening, guys? This T2 will be next time once you do the rollout for TS02, in the sense Tata Steel, Tata Chemical, Tata, then we are not going to set up this fiscal year variant once again. What will happen? This fiscal year variant directly is going to be assigned against these company code. Okay, and if any company code, let's suppose if any company code is like they're having certain foreign subsidiaries also, in that case we can define a different fiscal year variant and we can assign to that one, right? That is a different thing. Sometimes what is happening, like there will be a question, guys, like let's suppose this Tata Steel is there operating its business in India, we are following this, like let's suppose April to March. Okay, why? Because they're publishing their whatever the financial statement is there, it's listed in Indian Stock Exchange, right? And they're publishing their financial statement here. At the same time, they're having business, they're having market in US also, they're having market in UK also. Now they have to publish their set of financial statement in US market also, in UK market also, right? So, like let's suppose for US, they're following Jan to December. That is a different fiscal year. For US, we are having a different currencies and all. So guys, these all things, like here, if you have a look against one company code, we can assign only one fiscal year variant. We cannot assign multiple, right? So where to assign? Like now we have requirement of 2 different fiscal year or 3 different fiscal year, right? So I think I'll not explain right now because that is going to confuse you guys. We are having a topic called New GL. Okay, New GL, that is quite unique topic and it's very important topic. There are lots of people who is not having even the basic understanding, simply they have noted down certain answers from Google and they are going to explain. But at the time of interview, what will happen, guys? Interviewer is going to derive the questions from your answers itself. So unless you are having a perfect understanding of that particular topic, you won't be feeling comfortable while replying the questions or answers, right? So this is why. So that will be explained later once I start a topic called New GL. Okay, will come like before that we have to cover several topics. So forget about these all things. What I was talking about, I was talking about fiscal year variant, right? Fiscal year variant means why we are going to define this fiscal year as a variant. So as I said, variant is a reusable transactions. So once we have defined, next time if we are going to do rollout for other company codes, the same fiscal year is going to be used by other company code itself, other company code also. It means we are not going to define the new fiscal year variant, the same fiscal year variant is going to be assigned. Okay, the same fiscal year variant is going to be assigned. So now, and one more thing guys, in previous session I told you about the types of project, and I said like in implementation what is happening, if in implementation if you have to perform 100% of the activities, in rollout let's suppose we are going to perform only 60% or 70% of the activities. How? Look at here, one example I have quoted here itself. Which example? Like here, this TN02 is implementation because first time we are doing this all configurations, right? But after that, rollout. Okay, I'm typing in shortcut itself, so don't worry. Okay, so this is rollout, and these all are rollout itself. So during rollout, what is happening here in implementations? First of all, we have defined the fiscal year variant, and then we have assigned. So two activity we are performing. Whereas in rollout, what is happening, guys? Defining the fiscal year variant is not required because this is already defined. Now simply we are going to assign this fiscal year variant. So only one activity we are performing. Likewise, we are having several example, guys. Okay, there are several examples where you guys will come to know, and this is how you will come to know what is the perfect differences between implementations and rollout, and you'll be having an idea because during interview people will say that okay, what are the major activities which is going to be skipped during rollout, right? So those understanding also will be there. So don't worry, since it is our second session, so of course there are a lot more things yet to come, right? Some of the confusions are going to be like, of course it will be clarified in the current session. Some of the things you'll be able to understand in the futures, in the sense upcoming sessions and all. Okay, so okay guys, now so this is all about the fiscal year variant. Okay, and why we are going to define this fiscal year as a variant? Because variant is a reusable transactions, and it is going to be, in the sense it will be used by even other company code also. So once we have defined this fiscal year, that can be used by other company code itself, other company code also, and I've given the user example, right? This D2 can be assigned with TS02, TC02, THD02 also. So this is the major, what to say, use of this variant, and which is why we are going to define this fiscal year as a variant. Even posting period also as a variant, field status also as a variant. So what is this posting period? I'm going to explain in the next session. Field status variant, again, that will be in the upcoming further sessions. It's going to be explained. And once again, I have to explain the logic behind this year shift by giving some example. Then you guys will be having a perfect understanding. Okay, even though I've explained in the current session, but still this year shift, I'm going to, once I cover this posting period variant, then I'll give a pretty simple example, and then you guys will be able to understand the logic behind this, and this is how you guys are going to be quite comfortable at the time of interview if somebody asks. Okay, so okay guys, now so we'll wrap up this session here itself. That's all in this session, guys, and that's all for today.